This is where we do the blueprint. Young Andrew Bell is not with us today, but Awana is. And today we've got a special subject. No one ever talks about it, Awana. What are we discussing?
We're going to talk about Cosmo.
Cosmo.
I hate to break it to you.
Mm.
Hey everyone, so happy to be back. But it is a special day today. I feel
It's,
like it is, right?
it's a year and a week to the
Hmm.
date. So important that we published the long form article on Cosmo. But it's what's good about it, as I said to you off call, that was the first time people took the science seriously. And I
Oh,
know
yes.
why, because it was consumable, because there are pictures in there. It was easier to digest, therefore it was acceptable, you know. So that's been a good thing. You know, when people, it's quite funny, and I've mentioned this before, it's like science is shit until you're allowed to say backed by science on your bottle to get higher conversion, then science is everything. The irony.
The
Anyway,
irony.
okay. Do you
I
want to give
also
a,
feel that the popularity of Cosmo was due to the example that they used
yeah,
with the pregnant
yes,
woman.
yeah,
Now, here's the irony. Everybody understood the example.
mm,
Everybody talked about Cosmo in the example,
yeah.
yet we are a year after publishing it. And let me pull that. Let me start sharing my screen so I can pull the article. And we are a year into um, publishing this. It took us, what, a couple of months, about a month and a half?
Yeah, I mean, we spent a lot of time on it, didn't we? So,
Yeah. Going and trying to understand Cosmo. And I feel that despite the fact that this year people are is not as a buzzword as it was last year, it's still popular. And it makes sense. It's still important to understand how Cosmo works. But addressing the elephant in the room, it's not the new algorithm.
well, it's not even an algorithm. It's a,
It's
it's a
not.
common sense knowledge graph. But
Exactly.
I can understand why people would get confused because it plays a magnitude of roles within search anyway, right? Including behaviors. But it's not directly an algorithm per se. It's a common sense knowledge graph, but it also affects query matching as well because you've got the co-query pairs. But do you want to give a little bit more of a back, and then we can go through the next set of stages. So just to set everyone up for the show, we're going to go through the 15 parts of the framework so you get a clearer understanding. And then I'm going to walk you through products that work with Cosmo and what don't. There is very specific. You can optimize for Cosmo, but in some cases, you haven't got the type of products that it's suitable for. But then if you have, it's worth thinking about that. So I don't think a lot of people understand that. And also, I'll bring up a sandbox logic that I built so we can break down these relationships and look at a listing and we can look at where these key relations come in and their functions and the event and audience and etc. So do you want to run through this?
Absolutely. Um, Again, it's not an algorithm. It's the last piece that Amazon added in terms of understanding your product so it can connect it to the shoppers. For those of you who are active shoppers on Amazon, how many times did you feel like, oh my God, like Amazon is reading my mind in terms of the products that I might like and I might be interested in, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's what Amazon has actively been working on. Now, Cosmo is the last layer that they put. And then you talked about semantics in terms of how it works,
Yeah.
BERT, and then you get to the last part. It's the common sense knowledge graph. It's kind of like the last layer that fills the gaps in between understanding specifically what your product is, what is used for. And that is why at this stage, optimizing, not for keyword stuffing, but in a way that it's smart, talking to the algorithm and to the shoppers in such a way that it makes sense. It feels like you're connecting the dots in between the science part, what you should show, and how your product is being, how your product is getting traction and relevance. And we did see this over and over again. Like, optimization is now maybe more important than ever, and it's very how would I say, vital, important. I cannot stress this enough, to optimize your listings, both for products that are not top tier, in
Yeah.
order to help them out, and of course even for bestsellers. So yeah, going back to how Cosmo works, very important are these 15 relations. Recently started talking about them. You can easily go through, like, what is the use for function, use for event. There are 15 questions that you just go and ask whatever AI. I built a bot. I can provide the link to the bot, but I know then you have something even better
Well,
to
I wouldn't
show
say that.
everyone.
I wouldn't say that. Yeah, I've got a sandbox testing tool for my data dive work, for the work I do there. So it allows me to test the outputs and stuff.
To
Yeah.
test the output, so it doesn't only give you if it's optimized for Cosmo for these specific relations. Because here's the thing, and I know you will get into details around product type, but
Yeah.
this is how Cosmo tries to understand what your product is used for, where it is used for, by who it is used for.
Yeah.
Because Cosmo analyzes behavior.
Yeah.
It tries to analyze the behavior of specific audiences in order to understand what fits and that what doesn't. Hate to break it to you, but this is the reason why specific lists of zombie search find buys don't work anymore, because that triggers, Amazon signals in order to kind of like flag those orders so they don't feed data into the algorithm, right? So if we want to get deep into the reasons behind that, this is the reason why, because Amazon system got smarter. It actually analyzes, so I calculated how many data points. Cosmo takes into consideration about 30 million data points. And then it goes through the domains and the relations. So yeah, a year ago we published this. I thought it would be nice to bring it back, specifically since, we still see people on social media talking about the new algorithm, which is not the new algorithm.
Well, you mentioned there was someone who was speaking about it the other day after listening to you and regurgitated without credit. So yeah, no.
That's nice. Well, I'm happy the knowledge gets out there,
Yeah, of
but
course.
yeah.
Yeah, but it's like when someone says, "I've come up with this thing. It's called the honeymoon period." Like they've created it themselves.
I found it funny when you texted me and you said that. It's like, oh, did you know that we have a new honey?
But there, I mean, on the article, you've still got the. I think you got the. Is it the updated bot? You've got the product back in attributes. Have you done any refresh on that on the data?
Absolutely. Yeah.
So
All the
that's on
bots
there.
are
We'll
being
throw that in there. So what else do you want to run through before we get further down the line in terms of these relationships?
Let's get into the relationships, because I think it's important for people to understand. So they understand what Cosmo is, and I feel that everybody kind of like explain that it's
Yeah.
a common sense knowledge graph. I know some think it's an algorithm. It's not an algorithm, but it analyzes behavior. But let's look at exactly what it takes into consideration and actionable things that you can do to optimize your listings.
Yeah. So we're going to run. Do you want me to run through the 15 or you're running through them?
Let me actually pull them. Do we have them on the? We should
Well,
have
while you
them.
pull them up, I'll start the process off and then you can pick up on the others. So
Yeah.
what we've got to look at is 12 types in total. Though there are 15 parts in terms of the ground total, you've got the customer specific relations, which is 3 types. And then you've got the product specific relationships. So even though there's 15, you've got 12, and then the final set is split into 3. So if you look at something like used for function, so the question you're asking here, what primary function does this product serve? So an example might be moisturizes coarse facial hair and dry skin if you're using a beard oil. I like to use that as my example. That gives you an example there. Number two is use for event. You know, what type of activity, in which specific event or activities is this product typically used in? So an example might be perfect for wedding preparation, or ideal item clothing for job interview as an example. Then number three, you've got used for audience, which is an obvious one. So who is the ideal customer for this product? So an example could be men with beards or professionals with facial hair as an example. Then number four is what is it capable of? What's its function? What's its use? So what is the product capable of doing? So an example of this could be softens rough textures, reduce dryness, and prevents flakes. Then we come into number five, which is going to be used to, is slightly different. So what specific task or purpose does this product help to accomplish? So an example of this might be it's used to eliminate beard dandruff and itchiness. Now number six is used as. So this is around concept and product type. So this can be used, you know, basically for something else. So it's got a secondary function to it. So an example could be it's used to, it can be used for pre-shaved treatment. Number seven is a. So a concept, product type. What type or what category or type of product is this? So an example could be it's a beard conditioner, or is it a grooming oil? Number eight, used on. So time, season, events. Think about seasonality here as well. When is the product typically used? So an example could be daily use or perfect for dry winter months. Number nine is used in location. So location stroke facility. Where is this product used? So an example could be the bathroom, pause, and of course at home or for travel. Number 10 is used in body. So in terms of body part could be an example here. So is the product used on a specific body part of the body? So an example on facial hair and underlining skin. Number 11, used with. What's the complementary relationship, right? So what other products is this typically used with? So an example, works with a beard brush and comb, or pairs with a beard balm. And then the final one of this group, number 12, is used by. Who is the audience? Who typically uses this product? So an example could be used by men with sensitive skin, or used by professional groomers. So these are the 12 key product types of the relationship, and then the final three is reserved for customer specific. So number one is interested in. So what are the interests or hobbies of this ideal customer or customers? So an example here might be interested in personal grooming, or values natural ingredients. Number two is a. So is a in terms of audience, what demographic or identity does this ideal customer belong to? So an example could be it's for the modern gentleman, or it's for a health conscious man. And then number three, the final one, is want. So you think about here, the want, the activity, what specific activities or desires is this product fulfill? So an example here could be wants healthier beard growth, or wants to eliminate itchiness. So again, that's part of the desire aspect. Obviously, these are just giving you a framing on one product to give you some ideas. But I think what people miss on is what products are good for Cosmo and what are not good for Cosmo, because there's certain products that are not going to be a fit. So I think it's important to have a chat. Do you want to fill in any gaps before we move to that, Awana?
The one thing that I would like to add is exactly like you mentioned, keep in mind that it will be different from one product to the other in terms of what is the information that needs to go on the client facing side, and what are the extra information for Cosmo that you can add in the back end, right?
Yeah.
And that will be different from one product to the other. However, the use for function and the capable of, right, like the most important things, like what the product is,
Yeah.
what it does, right? And what are the main benefits of it.
Yeah.
These will always be front end
Yeah.
because that's what also customers are interested in. Like in this side, we are talking about one side of the coin. We are
Yeah.
talking about optimizing for the algorithm. We are talking about how to make sure that your product is visible and recommended to the correct audience,
Yeah.
right? But there's also the client facing side that you need to consider when optimizing.
Absolutely. Let me share my screen, and what we'll do is we'll run through these because it's be easier for people to see on screen as well. Okay, can you see the screen? All right, so if we were to go through what are the optimal products and what are non-optimal in terms of use. So number one, you've got to look at problem solving products, okay? So we kind of gone through the list. I'll jump through this, but it just gives you, so you can skip through and see through the list and get a general idea. You can always pause the video or you can message me and I'll send you a link to this. So problem solution products, this is going to give you high Cosmo value, right? So products that solve the specific customer product with clear and measurable benefits. So some example there, personal care products, cleaning products, fitness equipment, pain relief. Yeah. Then you got the next one was going to be based around multi-purpose and versatility of products. Yeah. So items with multiple uses, applications, or benefits that serve the customer's needs. So a couple of examples or a few examples here are kitchen gadgets, beauty products, tools that work with different applications, and then of course you've got multi-surface cleaning products. Now the next one that hits terms of high value is complementary products within the ecosystem. So if we look at these categories here, personal care kits, skincare systems, fitness ecosystems, cooking systems, coffee ecosystems, pet care systems, baby care kits, and home organization. So why does Cosmo excel here, right? We've got to look at what we discussed earlier on with co-purchase intelligent, and then there's the behavioral matching, right, which is bringing these products together. So think of, beard oil, beard balm, think of frequently bought together as well, right? So the next step here, if we look at the experience and the lifestyle products, okay, so you've got examples here, coffee, tea accessories, home decor, home hobby related products, self-care, pet care. There's a lot of regulars in there. And the good thing is a lot of the sellers I know sell in most of these categories. So Cosmo is suitable, but we'll get to what it's not suitable for. It's also suitable for seasonal and occasion. Okay, so holiday decorations, seasonal clothing accessories, event specific, weather dependent products. Now, where does it bring in minimal value? Okay, this is going to be on pretty much minimal. What's the best word for it? I don't want to insult anyone. Look, the examples are there: plain white socks, batteries, generic cleaning supplies, standard office supplies. Yeah.
Commodity products.
Commodity products, yeah. Okay. And then you've got highly technical B2B products, yeah? That's going to give you low value, right? So example, industrial components, professional grade scientific equipment, specialized tools for experts only, technical software solutions there. Single use consumables. This is going to give you more of a medium level, right? Disposable items, medical products, basic food items, one-time event suppliers, disposable cleaning supplies. So if you're someone that does replacement parts and stuff, OEM, replacement parts, filters, bulbs, stuff, you've still got a good business if you've got a good business. If you're making money and you're doing it over the long term, then that's not a problem. But what you've got to look at here is that certain things are not going to move the needle when it comes to Cosmo because it doesn't fit in with the framework. And of course, other products are going to perform better. So if you are optimizing for Cosmo, just make sure that what you do in terms of the products that you that are in your catalog, you will just want to make sure is that you're a fit for them. Okay, there's some other stuff we can talk about further down the line for products like that, right?
Here is
I call
another
them.
way to look at it, maybe
Go
that
on.
I would add,
Yeah.
is how niched the
Yes.
product is,
Yeah.
right? Because that's also an indicator. And what I always tell clients, and what I was talking also to Jeff the other day, is when there's no demand
Yeah.
on Amazon, you can optimize for Cosmo, but it will not really move the needle. It
Yeah.
can help you. The benchmark is your SQP.
Hmm.
But if the demand of the product itself is low and the product falls within one of those categories in which is extremely niched,
Yeah.
you can do what you can do.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean that there aren't very niched brands out there that sell very well,
Yeah.
and they are established brands. At that point, Amazon, most likely they've been selling for a long time, and Amazon has data specifically on who they are selling to and what the product is for.
Yeah. Indeed. So I've given a scaling here. Just think it when I say scaling in terms of scoring, just think astrology. Yeah, this is just to give you for the demonstration purposes of this. So what would fall under 80% and above in terms of potential score? Good for Cosmo, which is marking between 65 and 80, and then you've got poor. So you want to stay at the poor, right? So good for Cosmo, excellent is where you want to be. So basic consumables, as we said, replacement parts, generic commodity items, highly technical items, purpose basic tools. But to be honest, a lot of sellers have said they're pretty well covered. A lot of sellers I know would fit that framework.
Yeah.
So let's round this off. So use Cosmo optimization when products integrate into lifestyle routines, multiply it in terms of complementary items exist within inside of that category, customer behavior patterns that are rich and varied, products that solve specific problems with clear benefits. Yeah.
And I would underline this.
Yes.
It's the benefit that
See that?
makes.
Look, I underlined it. See that? I'm good to you. I'm good to you, Ryan. Look, I've just
Yeah.
underlined it for you.
Thank you.
And then we've got the target audience. You know, have you managed to identify their interests and obviously have a clear understanding of the demographics? Of course, most sellers do. And then you've got the co-purchase opportunity. So co-purchase, think frequently bought together. And then you've got usage context is important for customer success. So again, we skip products that are purely functional. Customers buy based on specs and price only. No complementary product ecosystem exists around the product. Audience is highly technical. Single-use items with no ongoing relationship. Minimal behavior variations in purchase patterns. So high is your product ecosystem. These are your kits, your bundles, complementary system, lifestyle, and integration. Medium is your solution-based products, multi-purpose, problem solving, and versatility of its said functionality. And then low is functional products, single purpose, basic utility, and then of course at the bottom skip if you're doing commodity products. So a quick assessment. Ask these questions. Does the product work with other products? If so, it has a higher potential for optimizing for, or you have a higher potential when optimizing for Cosmo. Does this integrate into the lifestyle routine? Okay. Does this solve multiple problems? Okay. If so, that's a medium. And this is a basic utility item, which is low. And do customers basically buy on specs only? If so, just skip. All right. So let me see if this is still cooking. I think this, here we go.
There it is.
Just literally, yeah, it's because I've just been updating this one. All right. So let's look at some scoring. This is just some sample data here, but it will help you understand where the optimizations take place. Let's say you do use Data Dive or you use other people's software and you're running the Cosmo output. You want to understand, you might get a score in, but how do you collaborate with understanding where the optimization is taking place and and where it's for, right? To give you a bit more clarity. So I just brought over here the product title, bullet points, product description. So when we go through now, we can see how it's been mapped, right? So remember we discussed there's 15 relationships. Based on this listing here, which is beard growth oil, okay, which is, as I said, it's suitable for Cosmo for a number of reasons. And so what we've got here is we've got the total relations, so it's hit 13 out of 15. Partial relations, and then a couple that are missing in terms of customer desires and alternative uses. So partial for events here. So we've got used before work or special occasions. So we could be a bit more specific in the language here, right? So if we look at the strong relationships, primary function, does this meet the primary function? So in this example, what does the product do and its primary functions and benefits? So an example here, moisturizes skin, removes stains, blah, 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 right? So this is found.
Actually gives you where it finds the information, right?
Yeah, that's the way I designed it because I needed something to test against our work with the data dive engineering team, right? So when you're testing the output, it's like, okay, you can read it and you go, yeah, that looks good. But when you're doing lots of these, you need to be able to pinpoint the variance, right? What type of listing is it? And this is where I started to uncover afterwards when I looked at it. Not only does you, if you got the right product and you use the Cosmo output, I think it was 5 out of 6 I run. Yeah, for every 5 out of 6 I run, it improved the score. So it actually made the listing better. And when you think about Cosmo and you think about the Data Dive's methodology of the routes and stuff like that, you think you might be losing a bit, right? Because you're thinking of trade-off, but it's not.
It's
Rufus, maybe, yeah? But what I've noticed is 5 out of 6. So that's pretty good impact, but it comes back to what works and what it don't. And when I need to go back through the data, but I think maybe with the 5 out of 6 is because I was choosing listings back then that wasn't as well suited for Cosmo.
For Cosmo.
Yeah, so this is kind of important to understand that Cosmo will work for a lot of Amazon sellers, but you've got to be clear on it. So if we look here, we've got bullet point 1, bullet point 2. So this helps with understand where the primary function is. It meets the needs of the target audience, right? That is used in the title and bullet number 3. And then you got the product category is A. So what kind of product is it? And so it's in the title, bullet 1, bullet 2, the description, bullet 4, title. I don't know why it's repeating. I need to fix the logic. And then you got here the time and frequency, right? Example, daily routine, morning use, twice weekly. So this is the time and frequency, when and how it be used. So bullet point 3. So yeah, look, you can see that live. I need to edit these because it shouldn't show up 3 times. But saying that, if we go back to listing, it might be because it's in the same bullet point and it's pulled it up a number of times.
Which makes sense.
Yeah, which would make sense, but it's probably just me needs to adjust the logic on it a bit. But this is for me to look at a view. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I can see this at a distance and I can see, okay, this is working, this isn't working. And that helps with the optimization. Then we got the application areas, use in the body. So here is where on the body is it applied. So again, the reason this scoring's come out pretty well, right, is because it's a skincare product and it's going to meet a lot of these. And with skincare products, what happens? They're used on a basis, daily, weekly, monthly, or whatever it may be, right? And then you got used in body.
Did you use the Amish?
Did I use?
The
No.
Amish
I
beard
didn't
oil.
use, no, because there's not enough information on the listing. The Amish one is my pet project to understand a lot about why that ranks. But, you know, people can say
doesn't
grandfathered in
have-
and reviews.
Yeah, it doesn't have information on the listing,
Yeah.
but it sells very well because it has been listed in 2017.
Yeah.
So it has a lot of data behind.
Well, it's
who
got
uses it.
external brand value, right? It's got a
has
huge amount of reviews.
Yeah.
And it's grandfathered in. It's got a good, long, rich history, and it's probably because it stayed in stock quite a lot. But when you think how it stood up against everything around it, it's pretty impressive, isn't it?
It is. It is. But if you check it in Rank Radar in
Yeah.
DataDive, you will see that it ranks very well for the roots, for the main
Yeah, he
keywords.
does. Yeah.
But for everything else, it doesn't.
Yeah, indeed. So I'll whiz through the remainder of these. So you've got professional use, right? So this is bullet 5 again, bullet 5, but same. Yeah, I've got to fix the logic, but it's pulled out. The idea is just to demonstrate for this, really. And then you've got customer interests, bullet 3, bullet 5, description, and then you've got customer identity. Yeah. So how does it see themselves? Trusted by professional barbers. Now, what's it saying here? I've got to clean up this. This is a bit ugly. That's why I've been working on this one here. Still need... Let's load the example. It's probably broken. No, it's a bit cleaner. I'll look at that later. Let's go back to here. So, the listing achieves 82 out of 100 Cosmos score. Astrology number, just so you know, through strategic use of 8 strong semantic relations. The application area relation appears 12 times across the listing. Natural language patterns like chemicals for perfect daily grooving. Man, we need to edit that one out. Look at that. Chemicals. Get fucking banned. The listing successfully... So there's, guys, as you're watching this, you can see they've got to fix a bit of logic, but this is still giving you a really good idea of where to look. I'll fix this up anyway. Alternative uses, there's some gaps there. But on the whole, this listing here is pretty good because of the nature of the product. So if we were to wrap up and summarize here, let me stop sharing the screen. There we go. If we're to summarize there, what do you think people should take away from this and look for their 80/20 when it comes to Cosmo?
When it comes to Cosmo 80/20, make sure that the most important information around what your product is,
Yeah.
who uses it, why are they using it, of course, all the questions in between them should definitely be present on your listing. And optimization is no longer a set and forget, but with all the data that we are getting from Amazon, it should be a constant revision on what you can improve. If you want, we can run it through the Cosmo check, but the same
Go on.
listing.
Do you want to bring it up?
Yeah. Let me try to put this here. So if you have the title and the bullet points from that listing, so we can check it out. Just to
You want
try
me
to
to
run
pop
it.
that over? I'll drop that on WhatsApp for you. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
And let's see what yours shows. There'll be a different scoring, I'm sure.
It's not giving you a scoring.
All right. Okay.
It's basic.
Yeah.
It just runs through the content that, let me put it over here. Screen. There you go. We'll just start. Hopefully it doesn't crash. Remember when we were...
Do you remember the first time? Yeah. It's always the way it's got to be done, isn't it? Right? Do you know the good thing about you and I? We don't have any fucking shame. Who cares, right? We're doing our best around here. Who cares?
Absolutely. Let's put it here.
Okay,
So we
let's
will
do
be
this.
analyzing... Oh, you also have the description.
Yes, for that one I did.
That's great. So they don't have an A+.
No.
Okay. 15 relations. Let's go. Let's see what the bot says. So it will not provide you any type of scoring. It will just run through the content that you are giving it. Remember, we are giving it the title, the bullet points, and the description.
Yeah.
If you, on your product, you can go and add also the information that you are putting in the back end.
Yeah.
Because that also feeds into Cosmo. And then it goes through each function. So as you can see, it says used for function, and it gives you the exact question.
Yeah.
and it says if it's found, right? Let's scroll and see something that it's missing. And there you go. Like look, used in location. Now, here is the perfect example
Yeah.
because you would not expect to tell people where they need to use the beard oil, right? This is not something that you would put in your images. This is not something that you would put on in the bullet points explaining where you use them, unless it's a travel friendly product, right? In that case, it's worth explaining. But perfect for at-home grooving or travel kits, if you don't want that to show to the customers, you can put it in the back end. And here you are kind of like killing two birds with the same shot, or how is the saying?
Killing two birds with one stone. Yeah.
With one stone, right? Because as you can see, it's at home and, grooming grooming supply. So it gives also the category.
Yeah.
Used in body, it's found. Then we have these two over here, which are the interest. What might someone interested in this product also be interested in? What we get as a suggestion from Brabant is great for men who value natural grooming and a polished appearance. You can go even like an extra mile and maybe look at them. I'm not good when it comes to millennials, Gen Z, what is the difference, but you can put that in case
But you
it's
love
worth.
them all the same, right? You treat them all equally.
I don't know the difference in between. I know that everybody's hype on it. I know I'm millennial, but I have no idea in terms of the differences and how posh specifically male categories are when it comes to that. But I think it's worth doing a market research on that if you're selling one of these products. And another one that it's missing, what identify does the user adopt by using it? What it suggests for the modern man who takes pride in his grooming. It's actually giving you good advices that you can put in the back end description. Again, I don't think that for products like this is where the difference comes in when you optimize. Things like these wouldn't make a difference client facing. This is specifically optimization for the algorithm. Of course, this will change from one product to the other. Where it does make sense if you have, I don't know, a product in home and kitchen and you specify that you use it in the kitchen, right? And how you use it and with other products. Summary, it covered 12 out of 15, just mathematic. And it gives you, again, an overview of what's missing. Don't try to ask it to help you integrate this into your listing. It would be a shallow optimization, but it's worth looking at too and exploring the optimization for Cosmo. So 15
Okay, so
relations from
yours
Cosmo.
got 12 out of 15. I'm just comparing the two. So they're very close. Mine's got 13 because there's partial and then there's missing. So it's effectively what you've covered there. So there are two missing clearly, and then I've got here in the scoring here for partial, because then it allows to know, it could be, you could be stronger and be more specific in explaining that part. So you still got the partial where you've still got room to improve there, so it gives a bit of guidance.
I see. Well, they match.
They match.
They match.
Like our Art of War t-shirts.
Yes, exactly.
All right.
Yeah, that would be something that I would recommend. If you need to do an 80-20, I hate to say this. I was in a training for listing optimization and somebody asked me, as part of the right click group that we created with Jeff, somebody asked me, it's like, what would be the 20% of the actions that would move the 80 in terms of optimizing? Here's the thing. If you don't have a good product, nothing can fix it.
Yeah.
It will not sell. You can do whatever you want. If you have a good product, make sure that you put in the effort to optimize it.
Yeah.
So that's the hard truth. This is one very important step, absolutely. And I strongly suggest that everybody should test the...
Yeah. It doesn't matter how good you are at ranking and propping shit up. if you've got a shit product, you're out the game. Not out the game, but it's not gonna work. You can prop it up for so long. You might as well forget everything you know, because no one can save a product. You giveaways, whatever, and artificially boost it and keep it there. But what happens to a shitty product once you pull the cord on it? It tanks, right?
Yeah.
So it's better to focus on making a good product and understanding the customer objections.
Exactly.
I know everyone hates customer objections.
But they're not sexy, but they're so necessary.
Well, it's difference between spending 300 quid and 3 grand on PPC only to find out you should have spent 300 quid to find out what the problem is to see if you can fix it. But yeah. But I think it's quite a good overview there. We went quite in depth, didn't we? So hopefully that gives people plenty to think about, and we've been able to draw some of these conclusions together and put them in line with the listing copy as well. Because I think once you can start joining the dots and you can see it does make a bit more sense than someone explaining, yeah, there's these 15 parts, 3 of them are customer related, 12 are product related, query pairs, common sense knowledge graph. Most people just want to fucking sell a product, right? They don't want to know all that stuff. They just, does it work? Cool, I'll use it. Let's do it.
I use it. Let's get on with it. Yeah.
Indeed.
That's why the basics never changed. It's not like Amazon just got the foundation and threw it out of the window and started all over again.
Absolutely. All right. Any final words before we go?
Just make sure that you check the sources of the content that you consume on social media, specifically when it comes to hacks and tricks and things to help you rank. And you said something very important before the podcast, is like, there's no workaround when it comes to inventory or things like that, but it feels like everybody gives tricks for ranking.
No, what I was saying is that anyone can say anything they want around ranking.
Yes.
And you have to accept it that it's true, right? If you did the same thing on accounting, if you did the same thing on product development, if you did the same thing on inventory management, or I'm trying to think of the best words. It's a bit like, it's an area where people can be an expert in, right? And still know nothing. But they can say they know, and what are you going to do? Call them a liar, And I'm not saying about calling a liar, but it's an area where people are experts, but none of them work in the engineering team at Amazon. Do you understand what I mean? Like, if we were to say about another career path of some kind, it's a bit like saying, okay, I'm going to go out and drive. Have you got a driver's license? No, don't worry about that. I've observed it, and now I'm going to go and drive and get on the M25. Yeah, that's what ranking is, isn't it? It's interesting, but that's what makes it interesting. So before I get myself in trouble, let's sign off.
Before we do,
best way to reach you?
LinkedIn, definitely LinkedIn.
LinkedIn. Yeah, yes. Not the clown world side. The nice side of LinkedIn.
The nice side of LinkedIn, the one that I don't ask you to comment, Cosmo, on my posts to give you the 15 relations.
Flow. And I'll chase you in the inbox. Yeah. Anyway, right. Guys, thank you very much for joining us. We'll be back here next week. Ritu will be joining us for Go With The Flow. We'll be doing some... flow. Well, no, not flow. We're working on some bits in the background, but I'll let you know next week. It'll be a nice surprise for you. Okay, without further ado, take care of yourself and your family. Much love, and I'll see you again soon. Take care.
Bye.